Hello and welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome here to Larnaca International Airport on the beautiful island of Cyprus, a place I'm very fond of and wish I could spend more time here. Anyway, we're doing a flight today for AMA, Andras Meridian Airlines. That's the VA I fly for. We're going to be taking the King Air, the Black Square analog King Air, from here in Larnaca down to Ben Gurion Airport, Tel Aviv, Israel, on what really is kind of an unscripted tour that I'm doing at the moment. Started off in Inverness, ended up in Norway, and then worked my way down from Norway down to Cyprus. And now I'm going to be taking the King Air round, probably North Africa, probably up through Italy, I should think. But it's really interesting, especially in the sim, to see how the scenery changes as you go through all the different countries. So that is what we're going to be doing. I'll be using Navigraph. I'll be using Pilot to ATC for air traffic control. So there's a lot to be going on with. I'll be doing a very much shortened checklist. If you wanted to see the full checklist, then I'll put a link to a video down below where I did that. But in this one, we're just keeping it simple. It's a nice chilled out flight. It's beautiful weather. So why not just enjoy it? While we're here, we do have a Discord. I'll put a link down to that below. You can post screenshots, talk about aviation, a really good bunch of propeller heads, lots of warbird stuff, and every now and again we do group flights. So do check that out below. But hey, I'm going to start waffling. Let's get in the aeroplane and let's get flying. Right. Here we go. So what have we got? We've got our flight plan and everything validated in Pilot to ATC. So that's all nicely set up and ready for us to go. I have set up the flight and loaded everything in FS Airlines. So we've got our VA client running now to keep an eye on us and make sure that we don't do anything silly. What else have we got? Oh, I've got the Navigraph Charts set up, so that's all good to go. I love that program. It's funny, this is the kind of flying I never thought I'd be interested in doing, but I'm really enjoying it. I don't think I'll ever want to get into anything bigger like a big tube liner, but certainly bombing around in the King Air here, doing IFR work and using this kind of stuff is good fun. Really enjoying it. Right, so we are good to go. I did promise you that I wasn't going to do a huge checklist, so I'm just going to do a quick flow just to get us in the air and save us messing about. So first things first, we're going to connect some external power and then get the radios on, because we're going to call up ATC and get our clearance. So what are we looking for? Clearance delivery frequency today is 120 decimal.
System test OK.
120.57. Actually, what we should do is let's just dial into the ATIS first. 12655, and let's see what's going on.
Larnaca International Information Bravo, 11-0 Zulu, winds are 7-5 at 5 knots. Visibility 6 miles. Sky condition VFR. Temperature 21, dew point 13. Current QNH is 1012. Arriving and departing runway 04. Larnaca International Information Bravo.
Okay, that's good. And what was clearance delivery? 120.57.
Visibility 6 miles.
120.57.
Sky condition VFR. Temperature 21, dew point.
There we go. Silence those. Right, so we've got that sorted out. While I'm doing this, I'm just going to punch in the, there we go. Let's put that in there. Okay. Sometimes most of the time, Pilot to ATC works a treat for me, but every now and again, it can throw a bit of a wobbly. I'm running on the latest beta, which I always keep updated, and they really are good with that. So let's see. Look at that, 99% engine condition. Let's just quickly get the spanners out and get that back up to 100 for crying out loud. Right. Larnaca Ground Meridian 234 with you, requesting IFR clearance delivery.
Meridian 234, this is Larnaca clearance delivery on 120.57, go ahead.
Larnaca ground, Meridian 234, ready to copy IFR clearance.
Meridian 234 is cleared to Lima Lima Bravo Golf. Climb via the IMD 1W departure, with the EMDA transition, then as filed. Expect departure runway 04. Climb to flight level 100 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 6 minutes after departure. Approach tower on 130.2. Squawk 4266.
Meridian 234 is cleared to Lima Lima Bravo Golf via the EMED 1W departure with the EMEDA transition, then as filed. Climb to flight level 100 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 6 minutes after departure. Approach tower on 130.2. Squawk 4266.
Meridian 234 rear back correct. QNH is 1012, contact ground on 119.4 when ready to taxi. Good day.
QNH is 1012, ground on 119.4, Meridian 234. Sometimes you have to be a bit careful how you talk to it, because it doesn't always pick up what you're saying, and yeah, that can make it a bit interesting. So what did we get out of that? So the initial climb is to flight level 100. So first thing I'm going to do is dial in 100 into the box here, just so that's a job that's done ahead. And what was the other thing? I'll put the squawk into the box once we've done that. Okay, that's good. That's fine. Okay, so let's go for a startup. Something else I'm going to do. It's just another little job. Get it done ahead. Saves a bit of time. Let's set the cabin altitude here. That's good. Just slightly above flight level 250, and everything else is good. Right, let's turn off the avionics and let's just sync our levers in the sim with the physical ones. That's all good. So prop levers fully forward, just a little bit of idle on the throttle, and we've got the condition levers into fuel cutoff. Everything else is fine. Quick check that the parking brake is on. That's good. Let's have some lights, just to show everyone that we're about to start wanging things around. Okay, let's go for an engine start. So we'll go for the right first, and watching over here. And that's stabilized. Fuel in. And when that gets to 50, we turn the starter off. There we go. Keep climbing. I'm now going to put that condition lever into high, because we're going to use that to help start. I'm going to put battery on, exterior power off, generator on. Everything's stabilizing nicely with that. Let's put the head tracking back in. So happy with the right engine start. Let's go for the left engine now. And again, we're just watching here, watching for it to stabilize. There we go. Introduce some fuel. It's something I've learnt actually with this, because of a a little accident that happened on one of these flights is my physical lever. I just push it slightly forward. Once that goes into the low idle position, just push it slightly forward, and that avoids accidentally knocking it out, which I have done to my detriment. Okay, that's all good. So generator, and reset that generator. Pull the right engine now back to low idle, just so that we're not screaming. Quick check of everything. And it's looking good. Okay, so now we can start switching some things on. So let's get the avionics back on. Inverters. I'm just going to go left to right, really. And what else? That. Engine anti-ice on as we're on the ground at the moment. Auto feather is armed. That's okay. We'll get the fuel vent heaters, pitot heaters on, just to be on the safe side. Bleed air environment off at the moment, and we'll have the aft blower on and the vent blower onto auto, please. And that's all looking good. Okay. It's going to be, what's the temperature down in the cabin at the moment? Come back. Chasing that click spot, 26. So that's not too bad. We are in Larnaca, so it's going to be quite warm out there. What is the outside temperature? 20. Yeah, I suppose this time of year that's probably about right. Okay, so what do we want to do now is we want to load the flight plan into the Garmin. So I've exported that from SimBrief, and I'm going to load that in now. Where is it? Boom, boom, boom. I saw you. There we go. And that's in good, got no errors in there, so that's good. I'm going to store it to start off with, because then what I want to do is go in and edit and add our procedures. So from Larnaca, where is my, there we go. Excuse me while I look to the left to look at the other monitor. So it's the load procedure, departure, and it's the MED1W. And the transition is emitter, which is correct. Okay, that's good. And then we're going to scoot down here. And we're going to load procedure. And our arrival is the Goddard 2. Goddard 2. And our transition is Zuko. And that's already there. That's good. I like that. That was quite a simple one. Touchwood, things going well so far. Right, so back, and I'm now going to activate that. So we've got that in there, and that is all good. Okay, checking. Okay, we don't appear to have that showing in there. So let's do that again. Flight plan. Okay, well it's there. Not quite sure why it's not showing on the map. Okay, maybe it's going to be one of those flights after all. It's funny, I quite often find when I'm doing flights like this that something silly goes wrong, and something silly has gone wrong. Right, everything else is good. Just put the boost trim and the electric trim. That's okay. I've got 10,000 there. We've got that there. So that was the flight level. So at the transition level, I will need to have a look at that. And what is the transition level here? Transition altitude is 9,000. So once we get to 9,000 feet, I need to bang that, or remember to bang that onto the standard. Right. Everything else is okay. We're good to go. What have we got in the orange box? Let's have the oxygen on. That's fine. We'll need to remember to put those into open. The bleed air valves into open once we get up there. Okay. So we want ground, don't we? Ground on 119.4. Oh, Co-pilot's already changed it. Larnaca ground, Meridian 234 ready for taxi.
Meridian 234 taxi to runway 04 via taxiways Lima Alpha, Victor, Hotel, Uniform, hold short runway 04.
Taxi to runway 04 via taxiways Lima, Alpha, Victor, Hotel, Uniform, hold short runway 04, Meridian 234.
Meridian 234 taxi to 04.
Yeah, I thought that's what I said. Taxi 204, Meridian 234. Right, let's have a look at the runway diagram over here now, and let's get an idea. So it's Alpha, Victor, Hotel. Okay, I can see that, and Victor there. Okay. I can see where we're going. Right, we need to do a pushback here, which we should have done with the engines off, really, to make it a bit easier for the wee fella. But what I'm going to do, I like to use flow. But flow doesn't work for that part of the pushback, but it does work for the pushback planner. So I'm going to get that sorted out, and we're going to give ourselves a nice pushback. There we go. Happy with that. There we are. And then we'll close that, and I'm going to have to go into here and open this one. And we've got that one. Okay. You're going to be like that, are you? Let's do that again. Boom. Okay. And that's good. So, request the pushback, take the parking brake off, and we will see. Now, you need to stay away from the propeller, fella. Yeah, really, for safety, should have done that before we started the engines, I guess, but here we go. So this is these kind of flights, I should say, mistakes are probably going to happen. This is in no means a tutorial. I've done quite a few of these flights now, but I would still consider myself a beginner because it's not the kind of flying I do most of the time. There we go. And but it's good fun, and it's a learning experience, and I actually do genuinely tend to learn something every time I go up flying. Come on, fella. That's it. Yeah, I learn learn something new every time I go flying, which is really what it's all about, isn't it? Flying is very much a learning experience, and running all these different bits and bobs, Navigraph, pilot to ATC, that sort of thing, I quite often find a glitch or something, or I don't do something quite right, and it's a good way of making sure you, or hopefully you don't do it again. That, for instance, what I was saying before about the condition lever, I was on final approach, literally probably just about to get to the 500 feet point, and I accidentally knocked the condition lever, which was just on the edge of it being into fuel cutoff. And of course, next thing I had a dead engine, and at that altitude there was only one way to go before I could recover. So that was a bit embarrassing, to say the least. But that's not going to happen on this flight, because we're going to do it properly, aren't we? Nice and safe. That's what we like. Let's have the taxi light on while we're messing about. So we're going to scoot around that way. I'm just looking at the airport diagram, and I can see which way the AI controller wants us to go. Right, thank you, my friend. Let's get rid of him. Give him a chance to get out of the way. It's never a good idea to run over ground crew. Never a good idea. Can you just expedite your... That's it. Well done, lad. Well done. Give it some beans. There we go. Okay, let's go. You silly boy, have you left the... No, I haven't. Sometimes it just takes a bit to get it going. Right, while we're doing that, let's do the squawk. 4, 2, 6, 6. There we go. So we're doing all the squawks. I don't have any AI traffic on. I tend to find that that kills the FPS. Actually, that's a lie. I think I've got it set at quite a low level. But there's nothing appeared here. But I do have multiplayer on because sometimes it is quite nice to see some life. And of course, if this was the real Larnaca, you'd be seeing quite a lot of airliners sitting around. But at the moment, I don't think we've got anything at all. So we've got quite a tight turn here. Actually, it's not that tight at all. It looks tighter on the chart than it does than it is doing it for real.
Meridian 234 contact tower on 130.2. Have a good afternoon.
Tower on 130.2 Meridian 234. There we go, and our co-pilot has changed the frequency. We'll just carry on doing that, and I'll contact tower when I'm at the holding point. Like a good pilot. Okay, I'm going to stop us here. Have a quick look around. I'm going to take taxi lights off now, put the landing lights on, and also the strobe light. At this point, I'm also going to put the bleed air valves fully open. Quick check of everything here. That's fine. These ambers will disappear once we give it some beans. Still a little bit perplexed as to why I've not got anything appearing here, but maybe I am not quite understanding something. Just going to quickly check that flight plan. As is typical doing a flight like this, it's doing something it's never done before. Just when I'm videoing it. Right. Shouldn't laugh. It has changed the frequency, hasn't it yet? Larnaca Tower, Meridian 234, ready for departure.
Meridian 234, winds are 095 at 6 knots, cleared for takeoff, runway 04.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 04, Meridian 234.
Meridian 234, you are cleared for takeoff on runway 04.
I think I said that, but cleared for takeoff, runway 04, Meridian 234. Okay. It does funny things like that sometimes. Right, I'm just checking there's no multiplayer coming in. Okay, let's go. Let's have those on. Sometimes I have found in the past as well, it's good to just start off with the lights on. So quick check, everything's fine. The condition levers we keep in low idle. There's only a few instances where you need the high idle. High idle doesn't give you any more power. It just literally means what it says. You've got a high idle. So if you were doing, for example, a very short field takeoff or you might want to put it into high idle when you're using reverse thrust, just to give you that quick response. But yeah, otherwise we're quite happy to keep it in low idle. One of the great things about the latest version of the Black Square analog cockpit for this is that we now have, if I click here, an autopilot position there. It's also down here, but for doing what we're going to be doing now, I always find it a lot easier to have it down there. Right, quick check. Everything's looking good. No issues anywhere. Have I done everything properly? Let us hope so, or I'm a complete idiot. Okay, happy with all that. Okay, let's give it some beans. Huge amounts of power in this aeroplane, so we definitely don't need to go full throttle. Needing a fair bit of left rudder there. Do find this aircraft quite squirrely on the rudder. Gear up. A touch more power just to help us on our way. Everything's looking good. Still rather surprised to see nothing on the GPS in terms of our track, so we might want to investigate that, but for the time being, let's have autopilot on nav, and we'll put it into climb mode. And it is completely taking us. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's going absolutely bonkers. So the GPS has failed us completely. So let's have autopilot out. And I'm sure I've done something wrong. But for the time being, we're just going to do this manually. Something obviously hasn't taken in the system somewhere. Beautiful Cyprus there. Okay. Just going to do a gentle right turn to keep us on track with the SID. And let's try and figure out what could be going wrong. It's got the wrong flight plan in it.
234 contact Nicosia Center on 124.2. Enjoy your afternoon.
Now that is a classic example Center on 124.2, take care Meridian 234. That's a classic example of being an absolute Burke. And not checking. Can you believe I've loaded the wrong flight plan? I've loaded the wrong flight plan and I didn't even spot that. That is exactly the kind of thing that I'm talking about. Exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about. Right, now we can nav, so the autopilot, nav and climb. There we go. Sometimes making videos, part of the brain, and let's face it, I haven't probably got the best brain in the world, is focused on making a video. And what I've done there really is very much a rookie mistake and loaded the wrong flight plan into the Garmin and not even realised, because I'm rushing ahead trying to get the flight up, trying to get the video on its way, trying not to bore you by sitting on the ground fiddling. And what I should done, which is what you would normally do, is just work through the problem and try and figure out what it is. And that should have been rectified right at the start. I should have been checking that that flight plan was the correct flight plan loaded in. Let's just wrong way. We're going to put it onto standard. Yeah, should have been checking that and making sure that we were doing the right thing. Centre Meridian 234 with you, climbing to flight level 100.
Meridian 234, good afternoon. Radar contact. Meridian 234, climb to flight level 170.
Climb to flight level 170, Meridian 234. See, there I held up my climb because I was talking to you. I made a late check-in call with ATC, and that should have been a nice climb up. So again, another silly thing to do there. But this is what I'm talking about, doing these kind of flights. When I make a mistake like that, it really is a kick in the arse. That means that next time I make damn sure, I can guarantee you, next time I do a flight like this, when I'm doing a video where my mind is also on the video and making sure that everything's working well there, I'll be making damn sure that I load the right bleeding flight plan into the Garmin. What an idiot. Anyway, so we're flying quite nicely. The pressurization system is doing its thing. The temperature on board is 24 degrees, which is fine. I'm going to take the landing lights off now. Everything else is good and is fine. I'm going to take off the engine anti-ice now because we don't need it. That'll give us a little bit more power. Everything else is in. We've got no warnings, no issues. Our ITTs are good. Everything is cool. Bring the RPM back a little bit. And then I must remember when we're at cruise to put the prop sync in. I seem to remember reading somewhere that you're not meant to fiddle about with prop sync until you're actually at a point where you're not going to be changing it too much. But maybe I've misunderstood that, but that's what I'm going to do. By Lord, that's what I'm going to do. We're going to do it professionally, all right? Climb to flight level 250, Meridian 234. I was so busy getting some shots there for the outside, you missed the first part of the call. Right, just check we're still climbing. We are, that's good. You know, I'm actually really glad that happened with the flight plan, because I deserve to have that recorded on a video for everyone to see, because that was so bloody unprofessional to do that. Unbelievable. I should be ashamed of myself. Let's have a bit more throttle now that we're climbing. Absolutely unforgivable to load the wrong flight plan into the box and not spot that, so I deserve to be ridiculed. Anyway, worked through the problem, got there in the end, did what needed to be done, flew the plane manually, following the procedure until I could have a quick look again and see what was going on. So that's what it's all about. These videos are very much warts and all. That, as I say, they're not tutorials. I'm no expert, and if anything, you probably wouldn't, because you're not quite as stupid as me, but you can learn by my mistakes when I do stupid things like that. Anyway, I do love this King Air. It's absolutely beautiful. I love the combination of the analog instruments and using the TDS GTN. For me, it's just kind of a perfect combo. I'm really not a massive fan of these fully glass cockpits, but this just strikes the right balance for me for doing this kind of work. I've not got any of the other analog cockpits. I know that they've just recently released the Bonanza. I'm not sure if I want to get it, to be honest. I must admit, I've bought a few aircraft recently and then not quite regretted it so much, but thought, well, you know, once I've got it, didn't really need that. And I'm holding out now for the A2A Comanche, which is due to launch at some point, hopefully this year. They do seem to be getting closer, so I don't really want to be buying any more GA aircraft at the moment of that kind of ilk until the Comanche comes out. So that's how I feel now. I'll probably go and buy the damn thing tomorrow. That tends to be what I do, buying things on impulse and then regretting later. But this is one purchase that I've never regretted, and using it for the VA is just such great fun. So while I'm talking about it, the VA, Andras Meridian Airlines, fantastic VA, great bunch of pilots. There's a huge amount of knowledge in the VA, and you get to do what I do, or if you want, you can go onto the bigger airliners, and they're kind of quite happy to let you do your thing, really, which is really nice. So highly recommended. I'll put a link to them down below. But if you're looking to join a VA, then yeah, I can't recommend them enough, really. So we're leveling off now. Speed is picking up. We've come out of climb mode. Just going to come back a little bit on the throttle, just a tad. Don't need to do it too much. Just slightly on the props. Going to watch the speed build up now. We can put the prop sync in, just to ease the vibration a bit for everybody and make it a bit more of a pleasant experience. Check the GPS. The GPS is of course doing the right thing now, because the idiot human pilot has now loaded in the correct flight plan. What a plonker. What a plonker. So really now we are configured in the cruise. Everyone's happy. Our pressurization is good. So I will, rather than bore you by waffling on forever, now that we're in the cruise, I will come back to you once we are going to be doing something a little bit more interesting than just straight and level with me talking. Because let's face it, the less we can have of that, the better, eh?
Meridian 234, expect the Godit 2 arrival with the Zucco transition for the ILS approach to runway 12 with the Godit transition at Ben Gurion.
Expect the Godit 2 arrival with the Zucco transition for the ILS approach to runway 12 with the Godit transition. Meridian 234. Right, so now we can load up our approach. So what is it? The ILS approach to runway 12 with the Godit transition. So let's whack that in. What did we say? It's the ILS approach. Where is it? ILS approach to 12 with the Godit transition. Perfect. Cool. Okay. Now that we've got the right flight plan loaded in, what an idiot!
Meridian 234 descend to cross Zucco at 13,000 feet, then descend via the Godit 2 arrival with the Zucco transition to cross Godit at or above 5,000 feet. QNH is 1010 at Ben Gurion.
Descend via the Godit 2 arrival with the Zucco transition to cross Godit at or above 5,000 feet. QNH is 1010 Meridian 234. Right, let's start descending. I always try and do that as quickly as I can. Interesting. We have got descent mode plugged in, but we are not descending. We've got 1,300 feet. Oh, 1,300 feet. Flight level 130. Let's just give that another click. And it's not descending. Okay, maybe that button's not working. Let's try and here. Can we descend, please? Okay. So I don't trust you at the moment. Let's come out of there. And I'm going to do it manually. Again, little things that can happen. So this is what our star looks like. So we have got to, what did they say? We've got to cross Zucco at 13,000 feet, which is what I've got set there. And as she gave us as she gave it to us in feet, that means we need to use the QNH, which was 1010. So we will bang that into the box. I am such an idiot. There we go. Again, concentrating too much on trying to make a bloody video and not looking at what I'm doing. I had my descent on autopilot configured up totally incorrectly. I'm going to keep an eye on this vertical speed. I'm looking really for descent rate of about 1,200. Possibly a little bit more actually, seeing as we were late getting that sorted out due to my idiocy once again. Again, another good learning curve. Okay, we need to also dial the pressurization down now that we're in the descent. Go, just bottom it out because that's where we're going to be heading for. Okay, descent is doing nicely, and looking over here everything is good. You have to be absolutely ready to criticise yourself doing this sort of thing. The ones of you who do this kind of thing all the time, a lot of this is probably second nature, and let's face it, you're probably a lot more professional than I am about it, but stupid mistakes, like the one with the flight plan, like the one with the descent there. Not getting that set up correctly. I'll tell you what I did. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm sitting here looking. I've got three monitors. I've got the monitor in front of me, which is the main monitor. I've got a monitor showing my Navigraph Charts app, and I've got a monitor showing my Pilot to ATC. And I'm looking at them and talking to you and thinking about the video, and I put my hand out to my throttle quadrant, and without really thinking what I'm doing, instead of bringing the throttle back to allow the descent mode to kick in correctly, I bring the props back. And then I'm looking around saying, why isn't it working? What's happened with this button? Rather than taking a step back and thinking of the obvious thing and looking down here maybe to see where the levers are. Again, great. That's two things. Two really dumbass, stupid mistakes that I've made that, by God, I'll make sure I don't make them again, that's for sure. But that's what this is, warts and all. I think part of the fun of all this is the learning. It's certainly what I enjoy. Like I said before, I feel pretty much every flight, and I'm sure this is echoed in the real world as well. Pretty much every flight, I learn something new. I do something, see something that I think, right, got to remember next time. Let's not do that again, or let's keep an eye out for that. Let's be ready for that. So it's all good stuff. I like learning new stuff, I do. Now that we're in the descent, we'll take the prop sync out actually. So we're all looking good. We're on the QNH. We're descending to 13,000 feet. I'm just double checking the instructions now. Yep, she did say 13,000 feet. It wasn't a flight level, so I'm doing that correctly. I've got my ILS loaded in terms of the procedure, but let's load in the frequency, because that would be a good idea, wouldn't it? So I think it was 12. Let's just double check. We are doing runway 12. So let's load in the correct frequency, make that the active. That's loaded as the active, and we are all good. Excellent. And we're coming down to Zuko, and we needed to be at or above 13,000 feet, which we are. So that's all good, and we're about to level off. So once we've passed over Zuko, we need to descend to. I'm going to go for, unless they tell us otherwise, I'm going to go for 10,000 feet. Sometimes with the King Air, you know, it pays to be lower rather than higher doing this sort of thing. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm actually going to dial that in when we are ready. We're still in descent mode, so I'm not going to do it yet. Just turning over there. Okay, let's go for 10,000 now. Try and get to using the throttle to adjust the vertical speed to 12,000. 1,200, bleeding heck. Get your numbers right, boy, and just checking that the GPS is matching what it says on the plate. Different air racks, but hopefully should be the same. ATC is quiet. Not much to look at out there, really, is there? Just blue, a bit of white, and a bit of blue. This is definitely not a flight for sightseeing, seeing as we're over the sea most of the time. Descending nicely. So for this confo, which is the next point on the star, we need to be below 11,000 feet and above 10,000 feet when we cross it. So we're going to be doing that. And then our next marker after that is Ninit, which is between 9,000 and 8,000. So again, I'm going to select 8,000 for that. So we're now within the correct altitude bracket. Just about to pass over, so let's now go down to 8, and we're in descent mode.
Meridian 234, contact Tel Aviv Center on 121.4. Enjoy your afternoon.
Centre on 121.4 meridian 234. Centre meridian 234 with you, descending to flight.
Meridian 234, good afternoon.
Centre meridian 234 with you, descending to 8,000 feet. Put your teeth in, mate. So what's there? The magic bracket here is between 9,000 and 5,000. Let's just zoom in on here. Yeah, it is 5,000. Right, let's whack that down even further. Okay, going to put the landing lights on now. So again, what do we need? We needed to be below 9,000 here, and we are. We're just going to keep coming down. I want to try and bleed off as much height as I can. Sometimes pilot to ATC before seemed to have a tendency to kind of keep you high. That meant by the time you were over the field, you were, you know, way too fast because you'd been trying to bleed off height.
Meridian 234, contact Ben Gurion approach on 131.1. Enjoy your afternoon.
Approach on 131.1 meridian 234. Ben Gurion approach, meridian 234 with you, descending to 5,000 feet on the Goddard 2 arrival.
Meridian 234, good afternoon. Continue descent via the Goddard 2 arrival, for the ILS approach to runway 12 with the Goddard transition at Ben Gurion.
Continue descent via the Goddard 2 arrival for the ILS approach to runway 12 with the Goddard transition meridian 234. This is probably going to be the kiss of death, but having too many problems with the voice recognition today. Sometimes you have to talk to it as if you're a robot so that it understands what you're saying. Okay, so we're coming down to 5,000 now. We will be, looks of it, be flying level for a short time at 5,000, which is good because that will help us to bleed off some of the speed that we've picked up in the descent. So, quickly thinking it through, we've got our ILS loaded up, we've got the correct flight plan, idiot, and everything else is looking good. I've dialed in the cabin depressurization as we're descending, and that's working okay. Yeah, touch wood. Everything's alright. That's not something you want to hear in the cockpit, really, is it? Touch wood. A huge amount of certainty being displayed there, if we're honest. There we go. Just keeping back on the power levers just to bleed off a bit of speed now. 5,000 feet, crossing over, which one's this? Duran, which is fine, and we needed to be above or at 5,000 feet for Goddard, which is our transition point for the ILS approach, and we're going to be, and everything is looking good.
234, you are 24 nautical miles northwest of Ben Gurion Airport. Cleared for the ILS approach to runway 12 at Ben Gurion with the Goddard transition.
Cleared for the ILS approach to runway 12 with the Goddard transition, meridian 234. just going to repeat that because although it's not told me I've done anything wrong, I haven't got the green text after the yellow bit. This means nothing to you. Basically, pilot to ATC, it doesn't look like it's acknowledged that I've said something, so I'm just going to repeat that again. Cleared for the ILS approach to runway 12 with the goaded transition, Meridian 234. Yeah, and it's not done anything with that, but let's see. Hopefully it will carry on with us. If it doesn't, then we'll just have to switch the ATC off. But generally it's pretty good at when you think it might have lost you, it will stick with you. Right, so let's get the correct ILS approach loaded into Navigraph so I can get my chart up. So we need to start descending. And 3,000 initially. There's Tel Aviv ahead. This is almost pretty much a straight-in approach.
Meridian 234 QNH is 1010 at Ben Gurion. Contact tower on 134.6. Have a good one.
QNH is 1010 tower on 134.6, Meridian 234. Tower Meridian 234 with you, established on the ILS approach for runway 12.
Meridian 234, good afternoon. Continue ILS to runway 12, call when established on final winds are 305 at 10 knots, cleared to land runway 12.
Cleared to land runway 12, Meridian 234. We still need to be descending. We are a little bit high there. Should have been a bit lower, but let's have a look. Okay, so ILS is kicked in now. That's good.
Vertical
I'm
track.
going to take it off autopilot. Watch the speed. That's all good. Let's have the gear. Cancel that amber because it just gets in the way. Slightly below glide path. So I'm going to do here is a little trick. There we go, just to get some height on the seat. Sometimes with the King Air I find that it feels like I'm sitting a little low in the seat for landing. There we go. Let's have some flappage. Gears down, we've got green there. Everything is good. A bit more flap, let's get rid of that. A bit high now. Oh, a bit of buffeting there as we come over the city. Give you a quick look at that. I find the King Air is an interesting one to land in. For some reason, I don't always do a nice landing on the centre line. There seems to be a when the wheels touch down, the effect of the rudder changes dramatically, if that makes sense. So you can touch down thinking everything's tickety-boo, and all of a sudden the aircraft is veering off at an alarming rate. Below glide path there. Let's just correct that. I was looking out the window too much and not looking at the ILS. We'll just correct that. Oh, wind there. Blimey. That was a bit vicious. Let's get some power on. So we really are below the glide slope now. Right. We'll do it visually now. Getting buffeted around a lot. I've got live weather on.
500.
And we've got a 10 knot crosswind. Turning into quite a feisty landing, even though the sky's blue. Let's get those wheels down, please.
Meridian 234 exit runway when able.
There we go, it kind of lurched to the left there a bit. Reverse thrust in, and brake, and power on. Flaps up. That clapping there, by the way, just in case you think I'm having an ego trip, that's from the FS Airlines app. Meridian 234 is clear of active.
Meridian 234, welcome to Ben Gurion, contact ground on 118.05. Have a good afternoon.
Ground on 118.05, Meridian 234. Ground Meridian 234 with you, request taxi to parking.
Meridian 234 taxi to general aviation parking via taxiways Delta, hold short runway 03.
Taxi to general aviation parking via taxiways Delta, hold short runway 03, Meridian 234. So Delta isn't even appearing on my Navigraph for where we are. And what did they say? Hold short. Taxi hold short 03. One of the issues here is that the in sim, I've got Navigraph loaded in the sim, and I thought that meant that it updated all your taxiways and that sort of thing, but from what someone told me, it doesn't seem to. So Delta is incorrect. It looks like it should be Kilo if we are to hold short 03, so we'll do that. Let's get going again, and master caution will take that off, and we'll throw a left here. And I'm surprised there's no one flying here. I kind of expected to see some multiplayer here. Maybe it's the server. I'm on Western Europe, which is the one I normally fly on, so maybe that's why. So we'll just toot along here. If you're still watching, well done for a start. Secondly, please do consider, if you've enjoyed this video, please do consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. It all helps to grow. Approaching the 4,000 subscriber mark now, so it would be good to help get there. So we'll just scoot across here. No multiplayer around, is there? Just before I ruin someone's day. Nothing more annoying than some idiot suddenly appearing out of nowhere. Let's have a look. This looks like the disused, if anything. Permission to cross runway 03, Meridian 234.
Meridian 234, this is Ben Gurion ground on 118.05. Please repeat your request.
Now this is where it starts getting a bit silly. Holding at runway 03, Meridian 234.
Meridian 234, this is Ben Gurion ground on 118.05. Please repeat your request.
Holding short, runway 03, Meridian 234.
Meridian 234, contact tower on 134.6.
Tower on 134.6, Meridian 234. Tower Meridian 234, request crossing runway 03.
Meridian 234, cross runway 03.
Cross runway 03, Meridian 234. I'm going to tell you a secret now because you're still watching. Back in the early 90s, I trained as an air traffic controller, believe it or not. And I did the initial bit past that, past my aerodrome. And then after aerodrome, I got streamed onto area radar. And first of all, we had to do... you going to transfer me back to ground? Okay, we'll just keep going. Yeah, did area procedural, past that, got onto area radar, and suddenly realised I didn't enjoy it. I did not enjoy area radar control. I wanted to work at an airport, and very stupidly, I lost interest in the course. Lost interest in doing what I should be doing, which is focusing on my studies. And as a result, failed the final part of the course, which was the area radar. And basically, if you failed that, they took a look at you and decided whether or not to recourse you. And if they thought you were a hopeless case, then you were chopped. And I think they realised I'd lost interest, so they chopped me, quite rightly. And so ended my career as an air traffic controller. What I should have done, had I been a bit more mature, is worked my arse off, got all my tickets, and then realised that I now had a damn good job, damn good salary, working in the aviation world, and who knows what else could have happened. So cautionary tale there, kids. Work hard, because you never know what's what's going to be available for you. So anyway, we're parked up here. There's nothing much around. The bus will have to come over and get us. Let's have the handbrake on now. Handbrake? Always call it that. The parking brake. Okay. We start closing some bits and bobs off now. Let's have the avionics off. Turn the bleed air off. Low. Let's have that off there. The strobe's already off, so that's fine. We'll leave the lights off because we're still doing things. Have those off. Auto ignition off. Auto feather off. And that's good. Okay. Let's close down. So, I hope you enjoyed the flight. Thanks for coming along. Let's have a quick look at the scores on the doors. What was that landing like? It wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. If I look over in the FS Airlines portal, I don't mind embarrassing myself. I don't mind telling you what the... Okay, that was all right. The touchdown on that was 41 feet per minute, which is pretty good for me. Cue a lot of people saying, oh, I do a lot better than that. But, yeah, no, I'm quite happy with that one. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the flight, and I will see you on the channel again very soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.